Good morning, everyone. Good morning, UTLA family, parents, and community members. I hope you all had a restful Veterans Day on Wednesday. We pay tribute to our veterans, living and deceased, on this day. I think of my dad, who served in the U.S. Army during the Vietnam War era. And I think of my uncle, Norman Myart, who served 3 tours of duty on a U.S. Navy submarine in Vietnam and received the Bronze Star of Valor. We honor the service of our veterans by working for a more peaceful and more just world. I am happy to be back with you today to talk about a critical webinar next week for chapter leaders on the health metrics for reopening schools, where we go after our energetic march to demand democracy on Saturday, and great resources out there on racial justice and health and wellness. We continue to meet with LAUSD officials on the physical return to schools. Bargaining a safe return is priority number 1 for our union. Not a day goes by that I don't talk with a teacher or a parent on how deeply they want to be back to in-person teaching. We know our babies need it, and we are aching to be back, but only when it's safer. Throughout this difficult period of unprecedented health risk to students and staff, LAUSD and UTLA have been in agreement that science-based standards must be the guide for physically reopening schools. One critical component is that certain community health metrics have to be reached before a wide-scale physical return. We are drilling down on specifics, concrete science-based standards on community spread, testing, tracing, and more, developed in consultation with public health experts. These metrics must reflect the profound reality that certain communities have been disproportionately impacted by COVID-19, including low-income, Black, Latino, Pacific Islander, and essential workers. On Monday, we are holding a Zoom webinar for UTLA chapter leaders on the community health metrics that we believe must be met prior to a physical return. If you're a chapter leader, be sure to register for the Monday webinar. Check your email for the link or reach out to your area rep if you don't see it. And UTLA members, your chapter leaders will be holding chapter meetings after the webinar for you and your colleagues to discuss the metrics and where we go in bargaining. These meetings should happen before we break for Thanksgiving vacation. Be sure to attend and connect with your colleagues. And I will say this again, because in uncertain times, rumors tend to flourish. There is no scheduled date for the widespread physical reopening of schools. It has been announced that January is the earliest month, but that doesn't mean January is certain. It was great to see so many faces out at our march on Saturday to demand that Trump concede and accept a peaceful transition of power. I saw folks from Venice High, Marshall High, Maya Angelou, Stevenson Middle School, Lorena Elementary, Emerson Middle School, Gala, Saturn Elementary, Lawrence Middle School, Vinedale Elementary, Miramonte Elementary, McKinley Elementary, Dorsey High, and many others. Add your school in the chat below if you were there too. Together, we celebrated the Biden-Harris win and put Trump on notice that he must accept the will of the people. The news coverage was great and helped get out our message. We won't let our guard down. This is not over until January 20th. Electors must be faithful to popular votes. Courts must reject Trump's baseless legal actions, and any recounts that happen must be fair, peaceful, and full. We know that many UTLA members were not able to participate in the action last Saturday because of health and family circumstances. It was so great to see you on social media, standing in solidarity and amplifying our message. We were 5,000 strong on Saturday, representing more than 30 labor unions and community groups, building collective power. It was an amazing coalition that came together in a short time frame because we saw what was at stake. And it's the same kind of coalition we will need to lift up the transformational racial, economic, and social justice agenda we have been fighting for years, and which is in service to our students. President-elect Biden is a longtime moderate with a pretty progressive platform. It's the work of coalitions like this one to hold Biden accountable to the vision that got him elected. And speaking of the presidential election, it wasn't too long after Joe Biden was declared the winner on Saturday that I saw my first hashtag by Betsy on social media. With Trump out, Betsy DeVos's time as U.S. Secretary of Education is coming to an end. Hallelujah. Bye-bye, Betsy. Yes, this is a win for public education. We have been waiting for this for so long. From her bully pulpit, DeVos devalued public education with her rhetoric and her actions. She pushed vouchers, private charter schools, ineffective standardized testing, the rushed reopening of schools, and cuts to federal education funding. She rolled back Obama-era regulations protecting the rights of transgender students and survivors of campus sexual assault. She revoked regulations aimed at abusive loan practices at for-profit colleges and denied rightful debt cancellation for students who were defrauded. She nixed school discipline guidance aimed at stemming the school-to-prison pipeline for students of color. With Betsy DeVos gone, we have solid hope for improved policies. Biden ran on a platform and increased pandemic support for schools, higher teacher pay, more federal money to finally address the unfunded IDEA special education mandate, and doubling the number of counselors, nurses, psychologists, and social workers to support our students. We know political platforms don't magically transform into law, and let's remember that under Obama, we had Arne Duncan and that terrible race to the top that pushed high-stakes testing and unhealthy competition for federal dollars. We are heartened that Biden has committed to naming a public school educator as his education secretary, and that Biden chose a name we know well to lead his education transition team, Linda Darling-Hammond. Darling-Hammond is the president of the California Board of Education, an expert on educational equity and a longtime supporter of public school teachers and public education. And she is being a critical friend of the importance of social emotional learning as surfaced in the documentary Trusted Spaces. We know it's a long road to see progress, but at least we are starting from a proactive vision, not from a position of destabilizing and dishonoring this country's amazing public schools. My son and I both celebrated our birthdays this month, and many folks reached out to wish us a happy birthday. Some of those exchanges brought me to tears. Your thoughtfulness knows no bounds. I'm thankful you all showed me and Giovanni some love in this time of shutdown and isolation. It really meant something to us both. I heard just this week about something really wonderful happening at 28th Street School Early Education Center, where Holly Mota is chapter chair and Jessica Fierro is co-chair. Thanks to Jessica and a person she knows, all of the 80 families at 28th Street EEC will get a Thanksgiving meal package this year. That's touching and impactful in this time when so many families are struggling. Way to go, 28th Street EEC. I want to encourage folks to reach out to me on all that is going on so that I can give you shout outs and shine the light on your work. Rank and file drive this union. Let's never forget that. Please reach out. We'll put the best email to reach me in the chat below. Many of you reach out with resources for educators. I love it when people send these to me so that I can share them with you. For people looking for a boost in their ethnic studies pedagogy, the CTA San Diego Equity Team is holding 2 days of ethnic studies training led by Dr. Miguel Zavala, Director of Urban Learning at Cal State LA. Day 1 on Monday, November 16th, will give an overview of culturally responsive practices. Day 2 will follow next month on December 7th, and it will cover redesigning lessons and units with culturally responsive practices. And participants can bring actual teaching units and lessons to this workshop. Registration is free on Eventbrite, and we'll put the link in the chat below. On a related note, there's a great opportunity coming up to share the work you're doing to center Black students and dismantle the impacts of anti-Black racism. In collaboration with UTLA, LAUSD Student Health and Human Services is sponsoring a virtual open house on December 3rd for LA Unified staff to share programs, interventions, and initiatives to affirm Black students, Black staff, and Black families. The intent is to facilitate collaboration and expand crucial efforts within our school district. Presenters will showcase their initiatives in 20-minute virtual gallery walks during the open house. The organizers are accepting proposals now with a request to get them in by Monday, November 16th. Any LA Unified staff member may submit a proposal. We'll put a link in the chat to the LAUSD homepage for electronic submission below. Later this month, we'll share more info on how to attend the conference. But for now, please consider submitting a proposal for this unique open house. November 20th is Transgender Day of Remembrance, a day to never forget the history and presence of trans people in our world, and an opportunity to celebrate the diverse lives of trans people everywhere. Black Lives Matter at Schools has compiled great educator resources from the group Forward Together, including artwork and a link to info on groundbreaker William Dorsey Swan. Swan was a Black man who back in the late 1880s was the first person to dub himself the Queen of Drag, the first to create an organization for queer liberation, and the first to urge the members of his queer community to hold their heads up high and fight for their rightful place in this country. We'll put a link to all of these resources in the chat below. Now, I want to shift to some health and wellness support resources out there as we navigate this difficult time. This year is taking a toll on us for sure. The AFT, American Federation of Teachers, one of our national affiliates, is launching a new health and wellness community series. Over the next several weeks, they're bringing fitness instructors, social, emotional, and mental health leaders, and nutritionists together to support us all. On November 17th, they will have a session on research-based strategies to find calm in chaotic times and a live virtual Zumba class. On November 19th, the session will focus on nutrition, and then a virtual screening followed by a panel focusing on the documentary, A Trusted Space. This film documents the stresses educators are facing during COVID-19 and provides strategies on how to redirect stress and grief into growth. Sign up for the AFT Health and Wellness Community Series and check out the resources at sharemylesson.com/wellness. We'll also put the link in the chat below. And for LAUSD employees who may be struggling, please know that you can access the Employee Assistance Program through Anthem for free. This is a confidential program available 24/7 for all LAUSD employees, and you don't have to be an Anthem member to access it. The program offers services, referrals, and online resources on a range of issues, including crisis consultation, legal and financial consultation, and dependent care. For more information, call Anthem EAP at 800-999-7222. We'll also put the phone number in the chat below. I want to close with some tragic news from our LAUSD community. Milady Quito, principal at Independence Elementary in Southgate, and former chapter chair at Maywood Elementary, has passed away from complications of COVID. This loss hits close. Milady was a former colleague of one of our UTLA officers and an important political mentor to a UTLA staff member. She touched the lives of countless LAUSD students as a former kindergarten teacher, coordinator, and special education teacher. She loved to read, was a phenomenal community organizer and advocate, and was a loving friend, daughter, and aunt. We grieve this loss, and we keep her, her family, her friends, and the Independence Elementary School community in our thoughts. We will keep her tragic passing in our minds as we navigate the safe reopening of schools. As the start of this school year began, Milady wrote a poignant principal's message on the uncertainties of the COVID-19 pandemic. She wrote about staff and students' resilience and the school's commitment to make distance learning accessible to all students. And then she shared the school theme for the year, Be Brave. Be brave, Milady wrote. Never give up hope, no matter how dark things seem. Everyone, take care of yourselves. Don't take this virus lightly. It is lethal. Keep up the practices we know keep us safer. Masks and social distancing. And let's make plans now to keep our holidays COVID safe as well. Until next time, stay safe. Take good care of yourselves. And be good to yourselves. Much love.